I took this photograph in a house that I'd lived in over 40 years ago. The house was due to be demolished, but it's actually been saved by some people, other people who are living on the street that the house is in. Nobody's lived in the house for years and years and years. And in the photograph that I've taken, I've put 2 photographs on the stairs of the house. There's one of me when I was about 2 or 3 years of age, and the one above it is my dad's merchant seaman's identity card. And on my dad's identity card are his fingerprints. And why this photograph is important to me, that I've taken of the other 2 photographs on the stairs of this house, is because it is significant for me, because that now within this photograph me and my dad are together. I wasn't raised by my dad, but throughout my life, and I'm 50 now, throughout my life, while he was alive, he always looked out for me and was always in touch with me, although I didn't know him very well. And I wanted to dedicate something to him, really. Also, prior to taking the photograph, and I wasn't able to get into the house, so I used to go to the house quite a lot for months and months and months. I just used to ride past the house on my bike, looking at the house, and just one day by chance I got talking to somebody on the street, and she said that the council were opening up the houses, some of the houses on the street, to look at saving the houses and renovating them. So I was lucky enough to be able to get in, and I went round and took a photograph of myself and my dad's seaman identity card and put them on the stairs. But what I didn't know when I actually went into the house, what the photograph had come out like, because the house was pitch black, because it was all boarded up, because nobody had lived there for years, so it was completely boarded up, metal gated and everything, so no one could squat it. So it was just by chance that I actually managed to put the photos of the card and the photo of me on the stairs, and get a photograph.
The reason behind this piece of work is to, in a radical and humorous way, turn around the situation of the MPs and put them in our situation and experience the real life hardships, struggles and humiliating situations that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and to use them like pawns or chess pieces in a game like they do with us. In other words, give them a taste of their own medicine.
This is my dad's bus pass. It brings back a lot of happy memories. He passed away in 2006, sadly. Him and my mother, who sadly passed away 2 years before, they used to travel around because they were pensioners, and he was always in the city and going over the water. So I thought I'd bring this pass in because I kept it when he passed away. He used to love going round Liverpool, looking at his old zones. He was a docker at one time, and he used to go along the dock roads and he'd take pictures and other things. And it really brings back the memories of when he was alive. And he always liked getting on the bus and travelling around, and doing sightseeing and that. I kept this because the picture of him still in it, and I keep it in my room in the drawer with other mementos.
Genuine by me, Robert Morrison. Genuine fake leather. Next leaves will be fake on parade of fake trees. Vanity shopping, alive in the city, deaf. Look at square in the eye, rock your soul and fly straight to heaven and never look back. Looking back entails regret. More vanity, I guess, for a shallow parade that will only lead to a shallow grave. Be brave and remember, the wind always changes direction and life is for living. Leave dying for the fake plastic trees to come.
I'm a red-hot Liverpool supporter. I have been since I was 8 years old. My fond memories about Liverpool Football Club was when they won the title every year in the 70s and 80s. My favourite manager was Kenny Dalglish. My favourite players were Ian Rush, Dalglish, Robbie Fowler. I always used to go to the game in the mid-late 80s. And in the Champions League back in 2005, I was over the moon. Nowadays, I just stay and watch the match because it's too dear. I always remember we done a double over Everton in 86 and 89. My worst memory was the Hillsborough 25 years ago. I always go to the anniversaries every year since that time. It hurts me when I go there though. I hope Liverpool win the title this season or even get in the Champions League 4th spot. Liverpool done well this season, like Suarez, Sturridge, Gerrard and Coutinho. If we get in the Champions League this year or even win the title, I'll be over the moon.
This is a picture of my mum and dad. I think it's at the wedding day. Both passed away now. My dad was a plumber, my mum was a nurse, both worked in Brazil Hospital for the NHS. The lights represent me being an electrician, carrying on the memory. This picture was taken in the 70s. I've only got a few pictures of me dad, because he used to hate getting his photograph taken. My dad loved his football matches, Liverpool fan. He had a ticket he got for the Kremlin Roads. It was supposed to be my granddad's. He waited 10 years, my granddad. But when my granddad got it, he died that year. My dad kept it on. And he had it for about 20 years. Do anything to watch Liverpool.
So this picture in a way just shows how I've changed as I've gone through my 20s, because at the moment I'm a student nurse and that's my ID badge in the picture, but it took me a while to decide that's what I wanted to do, and I've had loads of jobs in the past, but when I was 22 I started working in my friend's milkshake bar in the New Quiggins. It was on Renshaw Street, and that's the backdrop of the photo. And it was brilliant. It was a great place to work. We all had loads of fun, and I've got like fond memories of being there, and all the people I met. It was just a lovely environment. But then I love what I do now, and it's taken all the other jobs that I've had to decide that that's what I wanted to do. And now I'm learning all the time. I'm meeting loads of new people and just doing what I've always wanted to do, really, just sort of working with people with mental health issues to hopefully make things a bit better for them, and just hopefully do what I can to help with a bit of luck.
This image is more about the words that it contains, a simple phrase that holds true today, as it did thousands of years ago, and as it will wherever the future takes us. If a picture speaks 1,000 words, then does this mean that a single word can conjure 1,000 pictures? If so, pictures of what? It all depends upon the words you choose. So choose your words carefully. Just a simple phrase weighed down with a universally recognised sentiment. All you need is love. Not cleverly packaged and rebranded versions of nostalgia. Not regurgitated chord structures, lazily copied and pasted in a nod to the past. And certainly not day-glow bright, ceramic yellow submarine biscuit jars.
My photo was based around Dead Man's Walk, which is at the Old Bailey in London. It was a walk that people would take after being convicted of murder or whatever, to be hung. My image is to do with the walk itself. As you walk down it, the doorways get smaller and smaller, like in Alice in Wonderland or something. And it's a sort of like a walk you take of your own, well, not of your own choice, but it's to do with drugs, drink or whatever, addiction. It's a walk, you know, you take that you can't come back from, or some people don't come back from. That's about it, basically. Okay.
The guitar in the photograph is my nylon strung guitar, which I've had for since about 1990. And it's a guitar which I've kept with me and used a lot for writing, and it's just I've got other guitars and other instruments, but this particular one is probably the one I feel closest to when I'm playing it. I just like the nylon strings. They just have I've always thought of this guitar as being like, and the sounds it makes as being pencil drawings. I think that's what I really like about it. In photographic terms, it's very monochrome, and it's an easy guitar to pick up physically. It's been dropped and picked up, and it's still in one piece, and it still keeps itself together. And yeah, it's a good guitar to craft things on, I find. Just simple little things. And when I'm playing it, because of the size of it, I can sort of lean right over it and get a lot of... I can get right into the little sounds it makes. And I just like drawing the little pencil lines on it, whereas on other guitars, acoustic guitars, tend to play a lot more chords, but this I just found like simple little individual notes. I put it in this location. I like the shadows it's casting. When it's been in my room, it's cast shadows like that, and I always lean it against the wall with the back out, and it just casts good shadow. And at the Philharmonic there, it It's just outside the Philharmonic where we photographed it. And I think it's it's that particular style of building, that particular kind of brickwork. It's very simple. It's verging on the Art Deco, but there's nothing elaborate about it, and that kind of suited the guitar, I think. Like the ventilation shafts down at the docks, it's got that same monolithic monument look about it, but it's not, but it's, yeah, it's just simple. I think the guitar's been there and it's just been me on my own, and sometimes it's helped me be isolated, but with something. That's been a big help. It stayed with me through that. Even just a few moments, it just can change. Give me something to do. Beyond myself, I think, yeah. Yeah, so it stayed with me, and